can't believe I'm actually doing this video. I know it's been a long time coming, and it's something that I think a lot of people, want to know. And, what are their coaches actually doing? The people that prescribe you diets and the people that tell you how to live, basically, what are they doing on a day-to-day? So I'm about to show you literally everything that enters my body, whether I think it's a good thing, bad thing. One thing I want you to really understand about me is that I am extremely simple. I look, basically all my life is, I've always been chasing a physique, right? I love when my body looks good. I feel good. I feel confident. I feel better. So for me, it's about, doing the research, getting the understanding of what makes a body look good, and then implementing as many things of those as I can. And then from there, working backwards, which it's not the optimal thing to do for everybody, especially if you don't have that background knowledge and that know-how to do that, and what to add and how to add it and when to take it away is also a really important thing. So this is it, guys. This is basically everything that I put into my body, and this is what I've been doing over the last 4 weeks, which helped me lose 4 kilos now. So I started at just over 88, and I'm coming down now into like the 84s, and now I'm really starting to struggle. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what I have to do now to force that change and get down to around that 81 to 80, which is what I'm really hoping for the end of the 8-week challenge for myself, right? So I'm just going to give you a little bit of a closer look. Hang on. Okay. All right, so getting closer in. We've got our olive oil, we've got our lemon juice, apple cider vinegar, sriracha. That is just some basil leaves that I add, mixed herbs, salt, one of the most important things, garlic. I love using garlic. Oops, sorry, get my finger out of there. I love using garlic purely for that. All right, so look at that. Protein less than 1 gram, fat less than 1 gram, carbs less than 1 gram, everything less than 1 gram. It's a really good way to give some taste to your food, right? So this is literally all the condiments I use. That's everything. I don't screw around with much else. I always find that that salt, herbs, taco, a little bit of turmeric is what I use in here. Is more than enough to salt all my meats and to make them tasty and for me to enjoy them virtually non-stop, right? As far as the food goes, this is, other than when I buy Uber Eats in an off season, or, I'm eating something with Talia because, she struggles to eat the same foods over and over again. This is essentially what I eat non-stop. So we got mixed nuts, which is my fats, which I've cut out now in the last 4 weeks. I don't have them at all anymore. Basmati rice, quick cups. I usually use the bigger ones in an off season, or when I'm trying to maintain / gain muscle, I'll turn those into the bigger ones. Rice cakes for a tiny little snack when I need them. And then eggs, oyster blade steak every single morning. All right. So either eggs or steak first thing in the morning, and then vice versa for the second meal. Kangaroo mince, this is a staple. I have 2 to 3 meals of this a day. I cook up the whole thing. Actually, I'll go through all that in a minute. So kangaroo mince, my baby leaf blend. This is essentially, to be completely honest with you, the only greens I eat other than like the frozen veggies. I eat the frozen veggies, once or twice a week, maybe. I really don't enjoy them all that much. So this is where I get a lot of my greens. That goes with my mince, my steak, my eggs. It goes with a little bit of everything. Chicken, I really don't have that often. It's only when Talia is making it, or she's gonna have it, but I thought I'd add it in there. I might add a little bit more in these next couple of weeks, but I don't really have it too much. Fruit, I use blueberries. I was using mandarins, and then I got a little bit sick of them, so I don't really have it anymore. So I only have not even a handful of blueberries when I'm really hungry. I definitely don't eat them every single day. I just use them every, say, 3 to 4 days, or sometimes I use it just at night to stop those cravings. Pomegranate juice, which you can get from pure pomegranate juice, which you can get from Chemist Warehouse. I love taking like a swig of this basically I love taking a swig of this virtually every day, once or twice, literally just a swig, nothing more. And then the protein powder as well. right here as well, which I always take one of those, depending on where all of my other meals fall. So sometimes I have it right before bed, depending on what time my last meal was. Sometimes I have it as my first meal and then move everything else forward. You know, there's a few things that factor into there that aren't really important. But yeah, and I'll have a protein shake. So my diet always consists, and this is through off season, through everything, and this is just a matter of consistency to me. So I don't follow this non-stop. I also get a lot of sushi, which, you know, alters how I eat for the rest of the day if that is something that comes into it. But throughout this challenge, and whenever I'm deciding that it's time for me to change my body, this layout is exactly what I'm going to get into the supplements at the end, because I think it's important to focus more on here just for the moment. So let me just get them out of the picture so we can just focus on them. All right, turn that down. Okay. All right. So this is it. You know, I can't make this any more simpler than that. Because I can't, you know, this is the same thing that I eat day in, day out. Turns out you can't really see me if I put it back, so I'm just gonna put it back quickly. Sorry about that. Don't mind the cat either. So this, so this is essentially what I do every single day. So I use the olive oil for my mince and my steak. Always use the olive oil. For these next 4 weeks, I'm going to be switching from using the actual olive oil to the spray. All right, that's going to cut down calories relatively quickly, really reduce the fat without actually changing the taste or the texture or anything like that, which is going to be super, super good. Lemon juice, apple cider vinegar, and the salt. This is what I told a lot of you guys is what we're going to be adding in for the next 4 weeks. So really important. Salt should be going on everything. I don't want people to be afraid of salt. I don't know how many more times I can say it. Salt is, you know, one of the lifelines in our life. You know, it makes so much happen inside the body. It's really more about, it helps with muscle contraction. It helps with nutrient delivery. It helps get more nutrients to the muscle rather than the fat cells. It's important. And the only people that need to be really worried about it is people that have chronic high blood pressure. And even then does not mean you should completely get rid of salt. It's about timing the salt correctly and actually exercising, right? If you have a salt sensitivity, then you should be doing some sort of exercise to combat that, because without salt, your body can't function the way that it's meant to, and you're going to not really get the most out of anything that you do. So this is why that we've added in the salt and the lemon first thing in the morning. The lemon juice is much more for your immune and digestive system, right? So because of its acidity, it allows your stomach to actually digest food much more efficiently. You know, by increasing the acidity in the stomach, it allows breakdown so much better. You get more nutrients out of the same food. It helps immensely. And this is something that I brought in with my previous diet when I was prepping. And yeah, the feeling and the change after, you know, getting this as a habit is just incredible. I really, really recommend it to everyone on here. It's a quick and simple change. It's going to be a part of that routine habit. So it's going to be that thing that actually, you know, ties everything in, and you can get that little win. You can just, you know, do your lemon and your salt and your water first thing in the morning. That's a win right there that we get to celebrate. And then from there, you know, the next couple of wins is going to make it so much better, right? Now, going from there, I've already spoken about everything else. The apple cider vinegar as well, very similar to the lemon juice. It does have a small role in glucose partitioning as well, but more importantly, it helps. Look, this particular one, the Mazetti, I'm just going to quickly just show that there so you can have a bit of a look at that. The main reason why I got this one, I never have really done apple cider vinegar on its own. It's shown a small decrease in blood pressure in a lot of people with the studies and some other tiny little things, but it's not actually proven to actually help with weight loss, you know, which a lot of people seem to say. Why I got this one was because it has the pomegranate in it as well, and it does have some prebiotics, which is different to probiotics. Prebiotics you want to take before. Once again, helps the body digest a lot better. The better your body digests, the more nutrients you're going to get out of each food, the more satiated and full you're going to feel. the better you're going to feel. All right, I can't make it much more simple than that. This is not as important as the lemon juice and the salt, but it is great to add if you have apple cider vinegar in the home. You know, we want to take every opportunity that we can to change our body. All right, I've gone through all of them. Kangaroo mince, I cook up the whole kilo all at once. I put it in a big pan. I use some beef bone broth. I use all of these condiments that I have here, and I add the spinach and the rocket and all that sort of stuff into it. And then I just let that sit in a big bowl in the fridge, and I cook up the whole kilo. And then basically as I go from day to day, especially because I've been working from home, it's essentially just pour out from that kilo, my amount, which is 150 to 200 grams. I take that out, I add one of these quick cut slices, put the both in the microwave, and in 90 seconds, I'm smashing down a meal. All right, I can't make it much more simple than that. It's one of the main reasons why I like it like that. I'm too lazy to even cook my own rice. But I think personally, kangaroo and just wild meat in general, wild native meat. You can look at this, look at an interview that was done with Charles Poliquin, which is one of the best strength coaches in the world who has passed away not too long ago. And, you know, he was a complete advocate for native wild caught meat. You know, it just has, you have to understand that when something is fed up in a barn, when something is, you know, grain fed and it's artificially grown to the size that it is, it changes the genetic makeup of that animal, and the omega-6 to omega-3 ratios just go completely out of whack. Without going too much off topic, the studies have shown that even in beef and cattle, the omega-6 to omega-3 ratio has just, it's just completely switched. And now omega-6s are much more dominant in normal meat, where our body needs more omega-3s, right? We need the omega-3s to survive, and we need that balance of the 3s, 6s, 9s, and 12s to get a healthy diet and to actually perform at our best. But through, you know, through farmed meat, that omega-3 to omega-6 ratio is just going off the charts. So native meat, this includes kangaroo, wallaby, and then even the stuff like venison, elk, if you can find it, or even just getting, you know, organic is a little bit of an iffy topic, which I don't want to go into, but, you know, going to the butchers and, you know, getting meat that you know has been, you know, properly looked after. In saying that, I do buy my my steak from Safeway, right? So 450 gram pieces of oyster blade, that is purely the reason why I do it. Yes, that exactly what I was talking about just before is an issue with even your Coles and Safeway meat, which is why we need to supplement with omega-3s to balance out that ratio, right? Convenience and, you know, long-term health, you know, they have to go hand in hand. You have to find where you're going to make your trade-offs and where you're actually going to, you know, excel and do the right things. This is something that is just of ease to me. $12 for 4 pieces, and one of them is a serve. I love that. It makes it super easy. Once again, I cook up all 4 at once. I use the exact same condiments, the salt, the leaves, the turmeric. I don't put any taco. I'll put a little bit of taco salt on them. But yeah, it's much more the salt and the herbs that really make it for me. One thing I did not mention is the sriracha sauce. This is a lifesaver. Super low calorie on everything. So it's got like, you know, it's only got like 2 grams of carbs and fats per meal, and it makes everything for me anyway, really palatable. So I can just eat almost anything if I just give this a drizzle on my eggs, my kangaroo, or my steak. I never get sick of it. So this is what I have. This is going to be my breakfast or my lunch every single day. You know, I have this daily, and I've been doing this daily for nearly 12 months now. And, you know, I feel amazing on it. I feel better, especially when I'm supplementing with the omega-3s as well. Yep, eggs we've already gone through, chicken I've gone through, blueberries gone through. Beautiful. All right. So this is how I eat, guys. It can't get much more simple than that. This is what I do. I wish there was a magic pill, which I'm about to go through some of the magic pills in a minute, which I know is going to be, you're going to take one look at my supplements and you're going to be like, holy crap, why does he take so much? Or, you know, I'll go through it all and I'll do my best to explain, and you can think what you like of it. You know, I would have to say that, you know, being the healthiest person in the world versus having the best body in the world, if I had to pick one or two, I'm sorry to say, I would probably pick having the best body, right? I know I can keep up my health. I know what I'm doing when it comes to keeping up my health. So I'm not looking at optimizing that and living to 160. That's just not a goal of mine. My goal is to have a body that I'm confident and proud of all year round, right? That I can look at myself in the mirror or go to the beach and not even have to think about like how my stomach looks. That is a dream of mine that I've been chasing for as long as I can remember. So in order to do that, it requires supplementation. It does. And so I'm going to get into a little bit more of that now. So let's just get a little bit closer in on that. I'll make sure that I'll go through everything. So start off with the simplest one, whey protein, or there's a couple of different ones that you can get. Whey protein is super important, and everyone asks me, what's the best protein? Like, what protein should I have? The answer is that, there's so many that's good ones. They used to do a protein score of how well you could actually digest protein in general from shakes and different powders. And so they found that the best couple of shakes is anything that's a whey protein, anything that's an egg protein, or even beef protein can come up pretty high. So if you find one of these, and the main thing that I look for, so when you're looking at the back here, all right, so when you're looking at the back, I'm looking for at least 25 grams of protein, and I'm looking under 5 grams of your fat and your carbohydrates. So fat on this one is 1.7, carbohydrates is 7 grams on this one. So it's a little bit high, but it's only 148 calories and it tastes delicious. I got this one from Costco. I'll show you one more time in case people want to just get the same one I get. I know that happens a lot. I found that to be really, really nice. It's a chocolate flavored one. I think it's fantastic. I've went for probably 12 months without having any protein shakes altogether. And it makes it extremely hard to hit that 1.2 to 2 grams of protein that I was talking about in my insulin deep dive video. Being able to supplement the whole thing, and why it's so hard to actually create the physique is that there's not enough ways to get the amount of protein that we need while keeping the calories, carbs, and fats at a point that's going to, actually promote being shredded. Because you need to get that protein high. So you need to find lean sources of protein that you can just increase and decrease according to your goals. And that is why chicken breast is so huge. That is why kangaroo mince is fantastic. And that's why whey protein is fantastic, because to get an extra 30 grams of protein, all you got to do is just go scoop and you've done it, rather than eating a full thing of chicken or eating another steak throughout the day. It is just easy, it's simple, and there is almost zero downside effects of using them, which is why most of you should have one if you genuinely want a really, really nice body. That is just the simple side of it, okay? Moving on, next one up, vitamin D. This is the one that I get from Chemist Warehouse. Ostivit Vitamin D 7000 IU, okay? Most of the supplements that you get, and most of the vitamin D supplements you get, is only going to be 1000 IU. And 1000 IU, even if you take it daily, is nowhere near enough to support a vitamin D deficiency. It's just not. It's barely enough to even maintain your vitamin D levels. And if you're not getting the sun on top of that 1000 IU, you are going to slowly drop in your vitamin D levels, which is going to have a whole cause of other effects, which we can go to in another. Sorry guys, that actually cut me off there. I ran out of phone storage. This is how much I talk. So vitamin D, 7000 IU, and I take that Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And then as I get more consistent with it over 2, 3, 4 weeks, I slowly bring them back out to that once a week to maintain my optimal levels, all right? It's that simple. Okay, magnesium, which I think everybody, I already spoke about this, but then the thing just cut me off, so I'm just gonna quickly go through it again. Magnesium citrate is probably the best ones, but you always ask which brand should I get, what's this, what's that? Look, it doesn't matter where the brand itself is. Magnesium citrate, about 250 to 500 milligrams is fantastic, and it's going to be the best for you. That's pretty much where we want it with the magnesium. So much stuff relies on magnesium. Do not underestimate it. You will feel a difference if you become adequate in your magnesium levels and start supplementing with it daily. I really, really recommend it. Okay, HGH. Now this is one that I recommend to only a few people. It's not, look, this is where it's going to get a little bit more interesting on my side of supplementation and what I truly believe for myself and then what I believe for others. Because I have a very simple routine here as far as food goes, I allow myself to experiment with supplementations. I'm not afraid of supplements. I encourage them, I welcome them, and I like to see what changes happen when I take them. But to do that, you have to be very in tune with your body. You have to be able to, notice the little subtleties in your body when you start taking something and when you start to experiment. HGH, for an example, is something that I've been using on and off for the last 4 or 5 years. HGH makes it sound like really roidy or like, really, ooh. But it's nothing too crazy. So it's got these 2 amino acids that is found in pretty much everything. But when, found in all proteins and meats, it's there, it's abundant, it's nothing that's new to our body that, that we don't know. But if they extract 2 of these amino acids and they give them to you at a certain amount, and they give it to you at, the correct dosages of just these 2 at once, it can increase your human growth hormone production. Upwards, what the studies were showing was upwards of 700% in that first 3 hours of taking it, which is what you want to do before bed. So this is one that, I recommend. It's a little bit expensive. It's about $70 for one. Let me just check that it's still going good. $70 for one, but, and it's for 30 days, but I enjoy taking it. You definitely get better sleep on it. I like to think I'll wake up feeling a little bit leaner. And it could be worth it. So this is something that I take and anyone can take. This is off Mr. Supplement. I have no problems with anyone experimenting with supplements and, talking to me about that, but I'm not going to be the one to approach you when it comes to supplementation and actually experimenting with things that aren't necessary. So outside of the omega-3s, the vitamin D, the magnesium, the multivitamins, the fiber, and all that sort of stuff, this sort of stuff is extra. This sort of stuff is stuff that can just add a little 1%. When everything else is correct, when everything else is right, this sort of stuff can add like a little 1%er. I compete in natural bodybuilding. I'm able to take this all the way through and take it even on the day of. I am still considered a natural athlete. Okay, so the whole talk on supplementation has to change and has to change the way that you think about it in your mind. But that's something that you have to do with me and with other coaches and in your community and in your culture, to understand that. So, this is me opening up that conversation, right? Now, I'll go for that a little bit later. Creatine. Unbelievable. One of the best ones. Everyone who is weight training, everyone who, wants a really healthy life and likes putting on muscle and likes feeling strong, boom. Right, one of the cheapest, easiest supplements to get on top of. It is tasteless, it is cheap, it is easily mixable, and it helps a lot, all right? Without going too much into what creatine does, just Google it. Just Google creatine and you will understand why I take this at 5 grams a day. Usually pre or post workout, close to the workout is important. This is fantastic. It's found in meat. There's nothing in here. Once again, these aren't things that are exogenous to the body and it's like, oh my God, and then it just starts blowing up like a balloon. These are things that are found in everyday life, but we do not eat in a way that allows us to get the most optimal things. It's almost impossible. The only way to get the right amount of creatine for your body is to be on a carnivore diet and be eating, upwards of 1 kilo of meat a day just to get 5 grams of creatine in the body. Or you can take 1 scoop. All right. Okay. Digestive enzymes, a lifesaver for people who get bloated after meals, a lifesaver for people who struggle, with bloating or any other digestive tract, heartburn, things like that. I have found these to be an absolute lifesaver. Nutrilife digestive enzymes, I don't really mind what brand you go for, but these are really, really good. 1 before each meal. I really recommend everyone tries them for at least 2 weeks. It's not something you want to be on for the rest of your life, but by bringing in more stomach acid and by bringing in more digestive enzymes, which is what your body uses to break down food, the more you have of them, the better you break down food, the more nutrients you pull from them, the better you actually utilize food and the less you need to eat. It is quite that simple. Sorry guys, it keeps cutting out. So yeah, digestive enzymes is where it's at. I'm running out of iPhone storage, so I'm just gonna pump out these last little bit of supplements. Ask more questions if you want to know more. I'm an open book to you guys. This is the first time I'm telling anyone about all of this stuff. Not that it's a secret, but you know, I'm just trying to be as transparent, honest, and telling you, you know, basically what's everything. So fat burner for the next one. I've tried a lot of fat burners, you know, not because I think that they're the work and I don't think that they're 100% necessary, but when you're doing everything else right, they do make it easier. And one of the main ingredients that you should be looking for in a fat burner, because it's the only one that has been scientifically researched and proven to aid in fat loss, not weight loss, fat loss, is acetyl L-carnitine, which is, if you can see it, boom, acetyl L-carnitine, caffeine, green tea extract, theanine, cayenne pepper, all that sort of stuff. Look, the main thing there that I'm taking this for is acetyl L-carnitine and a nice tasting drink and some caffeine. So, you know, I take this first thing in the morning, most mornings before a walk. It just allows the acetyl L-carnitine, basically what it does is it helps transport fat cells into your fatty acid pool and into your bloodstream, and then allows it to be used as energy. Makes that process a little bit easier. Is it necessary? No. Why do I take it? Acetyl L-carnitine does give that little bit of a 5% advantage, and it tastes pretty damn good. All right. Greens powder, as you can see, as I said before, veggies, I don't eat a hell of a lot of. I'm just not a big fan. I get a little bit bloated after them. I feel kind of yuck. I get pretty gassy. And I'm very lazy. I hate to cook vegetables, to be completely honest with you. I don't enjoy it. So I don't. And so at the very, very minimum, I have my greens powder, all right? Once again, there's ones that you can get from Coles. Once again, they're pretty expensive, but it's a trade-off that I'm willing to make because I hate cooking vegetables. Okay, it's quite that simple. I don't like it, so this is a way to get in most of the stuff that I could be missing out on potentially. Is it better to eat actual vegetables? Hell yeah. Should you eat actual vegetables? Hell yeah. Are you going to eat more vegetables? The answer is probably not. So you can either lie to yourself and say, no, I eat enough veggies and, you know, I'm getting my 5 serves a day of veggies, no problem, which is a hell of a lot more than I've even put on your plan. So the answer is probably not. Can be a good alternative. Is it going to change the world? Is it going to change the way your body looks incredibly? No, but this is something that I need to do to make sure that my health is somewhere on point while I'm doing a diet in this way. Okay. Fiber. Super important, a little bit more controversial as it goes on, but I do believe that fiber does have its role. You know, getting around 25 to 30 grams of fiber in your diet is what's considered the national standard and the average. The higher your food goes, the less fiber you want. The lower your food goes, the higher you want your fiber, because it's actually going to help motility. You know, when you don't have a lot of food in the system, your body doesn't actually kick in and it doesn't use it doesn't create that motility response and actually getting you to go to the bathroom because there's not enough food in there to stimulate that response. Fiber can really help with that. If you are constipated, if you are struggling with this, you know, if you're struggling and you're having, you know, gut problems throughout this and you just don't feel 100%, fiber would be one of the first things I would try. Not saying it's a be all end all. I don't think any of these supplements are a be all end all other than creatine and the main ones that I've spoken about before. But fiber, super important. Doesn't work for everybody, so it's just a matter of trial and see how it reacts to your body. Everyone thinks you need to go to the doctor to find out all this stuff. Try it and see what happens. You're not going to kill yourself from fiber. Worth it. My pre-workout, this is just a pre-workout I use, you know, so I take this pre-workout just before, and main reason why I use it is, once again, a bit of a caffeine bump. I don't drink a lot of coffee, and more for vascularity and pumps while I'm training. So it allows better nutrient delivery into the muscle. Good, still rolling. It allows better nutrient delivery to the muscle. It allows your body to soak it up, get good workouts. You feel that little bit stronger. There's a couple of other benefits that they put on it, through the other ingredients. But for me, it's that caffeine kick. It's tasty. Once again, I enjoy the taste of a lot of these supplements, and it allows me to drink a little bit more water. And it gives me, it's about creating that routine around your workout. I'm not saying it's easy for me to get out there and work out every day, but the second I take my pre-workout, and I set up everything else the way that it's meant to, I have my pre-workout meal, have my supplements, have all this, I'm going to train, right? Because it becomes part of that natural habit, but you've got to build that, and you've got to build that through using things like pre-workouts or whatever else. Does not have to be a supplement like this. Even just a black coffee works well for us. Black coffee and some salt. That is another thing that's in here. The sodium is important. I even add a little bit of my extra salt into this pre-workout. It's important, all right? My omega-3s, I use fish oil, 1,500 milligrams, EPA and DHA should be in there. Once again, don't stress too much about the brand. Look for the 1,500 milligrams on there, and it should do the trick, all right? There's just so much controversy on supplements. This isn't me to get into that controversy. I'm just showing you what I do. Omega-3s are important, however which way you get them. Another way to get in your omega-3s, ATP Science, Aurum oil, right? It's plant-based omega-3s, 6s, 9s, and 12s to give you that full balance pretty much straight off the bat. I take 2.5 mils of this drop every morning, so that I know even if my fats go quite low throughout the day, I'm not gonna have to worry too much. Stop that. Aurum oil, really good. This one and AMP-V. So the AMP-V and Aurum oil, they're quite similar. AMP-V, much better for fat loss. This is what I told most of you who did your check-ins. We're gonna be adding in AMP-V in the next 4 weeks for anyone who wants to, get the most out of this last 8 weeks or last 4 weeks. So that's what I use at the moment. I just finished my AMP-V. I'm going to be getting a little bit more very, very soon. Demented. Adrenal RX, once again, ATP Science. This is hopefully it didn't cut me off again. Adrenal RX, ATP Science. This is a cortisol regulator. If you are super stressed, if you struggle to wind down at night, if you feel like you're laying there wide at night and you're just like wired, you can't go to sleep, and then you wake up feeling groggy, this is a problem with your cortisol, right? It's not lowering and raising at the times that we are meant to. So if this is a problem for you and stress, does run your life quite a bit, and it's taking it hard, these are fantastic. They help regulate that. They help you make you a little bit more tired at night, and then help you wake up properly, and go to sleep properly, and give you the energy pickups and then the wind downs when you need them, when you're supposed to have them. Really interesting stuff. They do a lot of podcasts. I would have a look into them as well. Lastly, the last two, which I know, it's a little bit funny. So I'm taking this one as well. This is a trial one. I've never had it before, which is DIM. This is one more for males. It's an estrogen regulator as well. So if you have too much estrogen in the body, this can help lower that. Once again, it's natural. The main ingredient in this is what you find in broccoli. The only thing with it is that you need to eat a lot of broccoli to get the amounts that you get in this, which is going to not just lower your estrogen, so it's not going to just completely die it off, which is, the lower the estrogen, the better the physique in males. Females is a slightly different thing, but for males, lower the estrogen, the less water you're going to hold, the tighter your body's going to look. So I'm just trying this out now. Haven't really noticed too much of a difference, other than I'm going to pee quite a bit. Man, I'm going to have zero space on my phone after this. This is what I'm doing for you guys. I know I talk a lot. I'm just trying to be as thorough as possible, okay? So it just cut me off as I was finishing up on DIM. It's experimental at the moment. We'll see what happens. Last two, RPG. This is what I really want you to watch first is the insulin deep dive. That'll make much more sense. This basically has some things like some black pepper, some curcumin, and some other herbs and spices and things like that naturally sort of increases your insulin to drop that blood sugar level faster. right? Even though it's low sugar, so there's no sugar in them, it allows the insulin to come up without the presence of insulin to naturalize that blood sugar. Once again, this is more of a trial for me. You're meant to take this at the end of big carb meals after your training workout, so that your muscles are demanding nutrients. You have a big carb meal, you have a big sugar meal, there's sugar running around in the blood, you take a couple of these, and then that insulin rises faster to get it into the muscles as fast as possible, bring the blood sugar back down as fast as possible, you're back into fat burning zone, right? Once again, it's a 1% difference. I enjoy trying these things and seeing just how much of a difference they make. So far, the main thing I've found, not as much like, helping in workouts or anything like that. It's good to take, 1 or 2 of these before sleep. If you do have like a carb meal before bed, to lower that blood sugar before you sleep makes it a hell of a lot easier. Okay. And then lastly, which I spoke all about. I literally had to delete Facebook and Instagram just to finish this video. So I really hope you get something out of it. Last one that I'm going to just go through, Horny Go Weed. You can get it from Coles. It's sold as a sex supplement. I understand that. But I much more take it for just allowing that free testosterone to just increase, even if it is by that 2 to 3%. And I do feel incredible differences when I'm training in the gym, when I have that and when I don't. Much better focus, it's almost like controlled aggression is the best way to, word it. I feel angry, but I feel like I can control it and I can put it into the strength and the training and the weights, which is going to change the body. With that one in particular, I do feel a difference when training, which is why I've kept it in on and off over the last 3 to 5 years. That's pretty much everything. You can get it for females as well, which have different supplements obviously inside it. It doesn't have the tribulus and the other things that's meant to increase testosterone too much. It is formulated for women to just increase libido / sex drive, which is derived from testosterone and free testosterone in the body. So if we can get those ratios right, these things aren't about just increasing as high as they can go. It's about optimizing the levels and then allowing them to stay there. And taking it for females or males. Females you have to get from Chemist Warehouse. Males you can get it just straight from Coles. But they are good. I really do enjoy it. It's like a 40-minute video. I really hope it was worth it. I hope you get something out of it, and I'll catch you.